Hey guys, this is Mike from BTR Budget Tech Reviews, and today we're going to take a look at the Coolpad Canvas by Cricket Wireless. Alright guys, Mike from Budget Tech Reviews here, and today we're going to take a look at another phone that I've had. And I've had this phone for quite a while. You know, I have been really busy and I haven't been able to get around to reviewing this phone, so I do apologize for those of you that have been waiting for me to take a look at this phone. But again, this is the Coolpad Canvas by Cricket Wireless, and what kind of drew me to this phone was two things. One was the price. It was only, I think, $45, and I bought it at Best Buy. And two was the actual branding of the actual phone. I've never actually heard of the brand Coolpad. Coolpad is really an unknown name to me, and I only know of maybe one or two other phones with this specific name on the phone. So thought it was interesting, and for the price I was like, it won't hurt to review this phone basically. So you know, let's go over the physical features over this phone really quick. So first of all, this phone is not a small phone. It's pretty decent size. It has a 5.5 inch HD display. Not your typical display. It's really kind of low end quality when it comes to an HD display, but it doesn't look bad. I mean, for the most part, you know, you're not going to get it, you know, the greatest, I guess, the greatest of looks on this phone, but when you have the brightness all the way up, it doesn't look bad. When you're moving the phone at an angle like this, you can kind of still see it. So for the most part, again, you know, don't take it with a grain of salt that, you know, this is not going to be the best looking display that you're going to get for a phone under $50. Okay, so all around though, you can see here right on the bottom, you're going to see one thing that I am really not a fan of in 2018, and this has kind of been phased out over the past couple of years in other devices that are, you know, using the entire screen space over here. But this is what's called a capacitive button, and you have your home screen, your back button, and your recent apps button right there. So again, that's not something I'm a fan of. It's not something that you can press while the phone's off either to get the phone going, etc. like that. So other than that, really nothing too fancy about that. One thing that I kind of don't like about this is that it doesn't light up. So that's one thing that I know ZTE has over you know, phones like such as this, and I know ZTE still makes phones with capacitive buttons, or at least something like the ZTE Grand X4, something like that to compare it to. At least those buttons light up, and you can actually kind of change the orientation of what the buttons do, etc. like that. So going forward from there, you have a 5 megapixel front-facing camera. Let's see if I can get that to focus here. Yeah, there you go. So 5 megapixel front-facing camera, and this camera can actually shoot in 720p if you're doing video mode, and I'm going to show you guys a short clip of that later. On the back here, you have an 8 megapixel flat camera that does shoot in 1080p. Does have a LED flash back here. Your speaker grills are actually down here, by the way, in the back. So if you're going to lay it down or whatever, or if you're going to put it like on something like this, you're still going to get decent sound. But if you lay it down on its stomach like this, you're going to get real muffled sounds if you're trying to watch something or if you're doing something like that. So let's take a look at the inside of this really quick. This does take a external battery, so it doesn't have a battery that's non-removable. So let me see if I can get this
open. If I don't break it, that is, guys, but I had issues with this the last time. Let me see if I can pull this off really quick. While you guys are looking at the box over here, let's see if we can get this going for you guys really quick. Here we go. Okay, so I got it.
So sorry about that. So in the back, of course, really nothing fancy here. You see the Coolpad battery. It's actually branded, so I thought that was interesting. Pretty cool. If you pop this out, you're gonna get obviously you're gonna have your SIM card tray, and I want to say on the side, maybe not. No, I guess not. I know there is a SD card slot somewhere, and I want to say it belongs right here. You have your SIM card slot right here, and then you have your SD card slot over here. So you can actually put those in the back. I don't have an SD card slot here since I just didn't want to have to deal with that, so no biggie. This battery is a 2500 milliamp battery, so you got to give shout outs to Coolpad for making a decent battery. And if there's one thing I can tell you about the battery, is the standby time on this is amazing. on the bottom over here, you see that it just has a micro USB charging port. So micro USB, even though it's kind of an old technology, you still see it on a lot of older phones, and a lot of people are still using this, especially on older Android phones, to charge their phones. And I don't know if they're going to phase it out with USB Type-C. Apple is definitely using Lightning right now, but again, a lot of their newer products like the new iPads are using USB Type-Cs. Same thing with the newer versions of more higher end Android phones. So if you guys are looking to kind of upgrade later on, this isn't going to be a deal breaker. Again, you can get a micro USB charging cable really cheap. So now that this is back on, volume rockers is over here on the side, power buttons on the other side. So, and as you can see here, boom, sorry for the delay or the adjustment on the brightness, but again, there's that 5.5 inch screen. As you can see here, there's notifications. One thing that I like about this phone, and you can't see it right now because I don't know why it's not blinking, but there is a little LED light display like right around here where my thumb is, kind of near the front facing camera. And when you get notifications, it actually blinks different colors depending on what app you're using. So like, let's say you're using Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram and you get a notification, or you just get a random email. I've seen this light up in multiple colors. So that's one thing that I kind of do like about this phone, is that this does have a little notification light. That reminds me of my Nexus 5 and 4 when I had them, and it had like a little notification light down here on the bottom, which you got notified when you had an app notification, etc. like that. And of course, randomly, and if I can lay this back down now, so I have it at an angle for a reason, but every now and then when you get a notification, this will actually kind of like light up black in the background, but you'll actually see the notifications. And I wish I had an example here to show you. I'm not sure why. Let's see, maybe if I press the volume button over here, let's see, maybe not. So kind of like that, but it's kind of like more black and dim in the background. Again, it's not like the phone has that feature where you kind of lift to wake it. It doesn't have that. At least I don't want to say it does, but every now and then when you get a notification, email or something, you'll see the display just kind of dim up for a second, and it'll show you everything in black and white. So I thought that was a cool feature for a $45 phone. So let's go to the specs now, guys. So let me kind of lay this down here while I lay out the specs for you. So again, this phone out of the gate is running Android 7.0 Nougat, so not a surprise that this phone doesn't have like the newest version of Android, which is what, Android Pie now, I think. And Android comes out with a new version every year, so it's really hard to stay up to date with Android, and that's a good thing, but it also could be a bad thing because developers, app developers, I feel like will have a hard time developing for Android phones opposed to like people that use iOS, because iOS usually rolls out updates for all of their devices, and you'll usually get them even on the older devices. So again, this is Android 7.0, so it's not an old version of Android, but it's not the new version of Android either. So you're really not going to get like a lot of the newer type stuff that you would see on Android 8.0 and up, basically. So other than that, this thing does run off Cricket Wireless's 4G LTE network, can run off Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth 4.2. Again, this thing does have mobile hotspot, so if you guys intend to use mobile hotspot with your Cricket Wireless plan, you're going to be able to use that as well. Let's see, going forward from there, it only has 16 gigs of internal storage, guys, and it can hold up to 32 gigabytes of external storage. So I haven't tried using an external card, so don't quote me on this, but I'm going to assume that you can probably move over apps and pictures from the camera to the SD card. Okay, this thing does have a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor, and the thing about that is it's not that fast of a phone, to be honest. Like, I mean, for the most part. And again, it's kind of, right now, since I'm not doing anything, it's really not that bad. Kind of just going through my notifications here, etc. like that. So, jumping from app to app, it's really not bad. I mean, but at the same time, once you get those notifications and you start like getting stuff off Messenger, you really kind of start to see this phone kind of lag. So, and then that's Instagram. Let's go to Twitter really quick. And again, it's a 1.4 gigahertz quad core CPU, etc. like that. But again, it's gonna do basic things if you guys don't clog this up with a lot of bloatware. So right now I have it running on Wi-Fi, so you can see here the lot of videos, etc. are playing in the background. So nothing too fancy. Checking my notifications there, and right out the gate, it doesn't come with a lot of bloatware. Amazon bloatware, of course. You have your typical Google apps like Duo, Deezer, Keep Notes, My Cricket, which is for people that have the Cricket service, etc. like that. Again, I haven't downloaded too many apps on here just because I can really tell right off the bat that this isn't going to be something that you want to kind of congest with a lot of apps, just because this is going to be just a phone that someone uses for basic just texting and light social media usage, and maybe just to check your email. You're not really going to want to play games on this. I will do a gaming test though. One thing that I'm kind of impressed with is the camera though, and I'll show you guys in just a bit. But other than that, it's a typical Android phone. Not a heavily skinned phone. Battery life is up here. It says it's got no SIM card in there. It's got your basic features like flashlight, auto rotate, airplane mode, Bluetooth is off for me, and your battery life will vary depending on what you guys are using, obviously. So obviously right now, like, one thing that I can kind of tell you is that just running a simple app like Facebook like this, and let me see if I can message myself. No, I don't want to send myself a picture. So I'm gonna just say, hey, what's up? I'm gonna message myself just for the heck of it. Hi. And for the most part, something like this, it'll work on Messenger, but once you get that little notification thing up here, when somebody messages you back, it's going to get a lot of lag. So again, take it with a grain of salt that if you buy this phone, it's not going to be something that you're not going to get frustrated with. This is going to be a phone that is going to frustrate you. And again, it's really not bad. Right now I have all these notifications up here so you guys can kind of see. Just take a look at that. I cleared that out. It has your typical Android widgets, of course. So if you want to add a widget like a clock or something like that to the phone, something that Android has over iOS is that you can still add all these little widgets. You can definitely download more widgets off the Play Store, and I would recommend getting apps like Zedge for free ringtones, etc. like that. And just for let me see, I did get that weird notification email, but I'm not getting anything. So going from there, guys, this phone again is only $45. So for someone that is having to replace their phone and doesn't want to break the bank and just have something for a little bit, I would recommend this phone, getting it if you're not going to have it that long. Or if you're somebody that is just going to again use it for email, texting, phone calls, etc., and light photo use, it's something that you want to do. And that's the thing about phones in 2018. We're so dependent on using phones and devices that it's kind of crazy, like how we use these phones nowadays compared to 5 years ago. But one thing that I was really impressed with, guys, is the camera. And the reason being is because of the again, it's got it's got auto HDR, etc. like that, so you're really not going to be disappointed when it comes to stuff like that. Let me just take a few pictures here so you guys can kind of see. It's not the slowest camera, obviously, but it's not going to be a fast camera either. And I'm going to actually show you guys little photos and videos really quick. So cool part about this is it does have a pro mode. So your pro mode allows you to mess with specific settings like your brightness, your ISO, etc. like that. So, and you can mess with your saturation. I can move this up, I can move it down, etc. like that. If you guys are the ones that like to actually kind of manipulate the photos a little more, mess with your ISO. So like right now ISO is set to auto, but if I were to turn that off and actually use this, it would look super weird. But I don't know what happened there. It got out of mode. So I'm just gonna take a quick snapshot. So it actually takes the pictures pretty quick, but look at that. You can see there that it's kind of blurry and it's dulled out. So that's interesting though. But again, auto HDR is on and my flash is auto on. So let me turn that off. So again, it's really not something that's you're going to be super satisfied with. This phone probably doesn't have any type of stabilization, so you really kind of have to hold this phone down or you know what you're doing when it comes to taking the pictures, just because you know you're not going to get a lot of good quality shots. And for the typical user, you know, again, you're just going to leave this in auto mode, and auto mode will probably get the job done for you, hopefully. So let me turn off the flash again. That's one thing that I hate about this, is the flash kind of goes on and off. Let's see, auto, and HDR also has an auto off and on. I'm gonna turn on HDR just to kind of see what's up. So let's turn on HDR. My hand was kind of shaky there, so we'll see how that goes. So let's take a look, and I will show that picture when I show the rest of the pictures and videos, guys. But not too bad, you know. Again, the rear-facing camera in video mode has or can shoot in 1080p, so you can change that setting right up here, and if you choose to, you can shoot in 720. And let's see, and at 480p, and all of those settings are going to be at 30 frames per second, guys. So if you plan to shoot video with this, make sure obviously that you're getting a memory card with it, and just, you know, keep using it like that, guys, because it's really not gonna, you know, it's gonna eat up your memory really quick, basically. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a few videos here, just so that, and some pictures, just so that you guys can kind of see the picture quality of this specific camera, guys. Alright guys, this is Mike from Budget Tech Reviews, and I am just testing out the front-facing camera on this thing. This thing does shoot in 720p, and I am just kind of walking around seeing what's going on here in my backyard. The sun is kind of already going down, so the light isn't that bad, but at the same time, you could probably notice that depending on the areas that I'm in, that like I'm trying to kind of get to a darker area so that you guys can see over here, but so far it doesn't look bad. Again, and front-facing camera shoots in 720, so really not bad considering the fact that this is a phone that's under what, $50. So definitely something to note if you guys are interested in this phone. And again, you can kind of tell that this phone does kind of adjust when you guys are in low light situations. So like over here, kind of trying to get more in the shade here, under the tree or something like that. Let's try this up here, hold on. Kind of over here on the side of my house, and still doesn't look too bad. You can see my electricity meter, and again, this is kind of a more shaded area than where I was in earlier, so definitely something to note, guys. Doesn't look bad though. We'll see once I get this edited though, so we'll check that out, and you guys be the judge, okay? Alright guys, so that was gaming on this phone, and you know, gaming is not going to be horrible unless you download like a bunch of graphically very heavy graphic gaming. I would recommend trying to staying away from 3D games as much as you can. I know a lot of people are into games like Fortnite, etc. like that, but again, you know, that was just a little bit of basic clips from gaming, so I don't want you guys to kind of get discouraged from that. I downloaded Sonic, which was an easy game. So again, you know, that was just a little bit of gameplay for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the actual camera clips, etc. like that. So again, guys, the Coolpad canvas, you know, retails for $45 right now at Best Buy, and I'm gonna see if I can find it on Amazon. I'm gonna post up a link down there just cause I get myself some affiliate action over here. But again, guys, you know, again, I would probably not recommend this phone if you guys are going to want to use it for heavy gaming and very good photos. You know, it's going to be a phone for your typical person that really doesn't use the phone for a lot of stuff like that. Again, typical texting, sending pictures to your family and friends, maybe light social media usage. You know, using YouTube on it obviously is probably one perk that, you know, I will definitely give a shout out to, just because I am a big YouTube guy, obviously, right? So hello, I don't know what's going on there, but again, you know, I'm always going to promote my own channel over here. So you know, my last video that I did was, again, the Veloster, but again, that's totally the wrong YouTube channel to begin with. But again, guys, you know, again, this phone, take it with a grain of salt that, you know, this phone is only $45, so you're gonna get your money's worth, you know, to the people that, you know, actually are gonna make effective use of this phone. But again, guys, this is Mike from Budget Tech Reviews. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Definitely leave a comment below, give me some feedback, send some love my way if you guys like the video, obviously. And if you guys are being haters, just keep hating, it's all good. But again, guys, this is Mike from Budget Tech Reviews. We'll see you all next time. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching.